Hi, this is Lokesh again. Good evening, and today I want to give you some information about this BauSpar Vertrag. What I was telling you in my first video, what does this BauSpar Vertrag means? So I want to elaborate you more information on this, or I want to provide you more information on what this BauSpar Vertrag really means. So let me give you an example. Like before we start something, let me give you an example. Like say for example, in the current market, we have a very less housing interest schemes compared to the last 10 years or 15 years. So, and we have a possibility to take a housing loan partially for the 10 years or 15 years, and not a complete house capital, but you can take a partial loan, partial capital, and after 10 years you can renew it or you can fill it with your savings or something. There are some various options now to take a housing loan. Let me give you an example with some fixed value. Like take an example like a 1 lakh euros. You buy a property and you want to take a housing loan from bank X with a 10 years of span. So what does this do is you pay a capital for 200, and 200 you pay some interest to the bank or whatever they're providing, and after 1 year you pay 2400 on your capital, and after 10 years you pay 24,000 of your capital money for the property what you bought. That means the rest 76% is still open for you. And what does this, or how does this help us? What are the benefits of taking like this? So the first thing is, if you are taking a loan for 30 years, you have to pay an installment at another price compared to when you're taking a loan at 10 years span. And when you're taking a loan at 10 years span, it's a risk factor, but still, after 10 years, you can't predict if the housing loan is still 2% or it can be lower or it can be higher. It's a risk factor. And you have to renew the loan after 10 years, or you have to take a new loan and close the old loan to extend your housing loan after 10 years. And what does this BauSpar Vertrag really helps us? So this BauSpar Vertrag means after 10 years, for example, or after 5 years or after 15 years or something, you get, when you make a BauSpar Vertrag with any of the bank X, they will provide you some terms saying that after so and so money is filled from your account, you can get an housing loan or a renovation loan at a fixed price, say for example 3%, because the current loan on an average is 2% for a housing loan. You will get an housing BauSpar credit for 3%, for example, from bank X. Then after 10 years, if the interest is high or interest is low, you can make a decision whether you want to go with a BauSpar Fatra credit or with another bank. I will give you this with an example. It's a complex topic, but I will try to explain you with an example. So, for example, we have taken a 1 lakh previous example where after 10 years, I have to pay some 76,000 on the capital, on the capital of the property. And after 10 years, if I have a BauSpar Vertrag, I have a 3% fixed price interest where I can take a loan again from this BauSpar Vertrag partially and pay this capital interest, to my property. But what is the situation after 10 years with the housing loans? Assume if the housing loans after 10 years is really less, that means current rate is 2% and after 10 years it's only 1% where I'm getting loan. Then I have an option to take the loan from the bank X with a 1% interest and renew my housing loan. If the housing loan after 10 years is 5% or 10%, then we are in a risk factor. What to do in this case? In this case, you are protected with this BauSpar Vertrag what you made 10 years before. That means in your BauSpar Vertrag you have a fixed interest saying that after 10 years you can get a housing loan or a renovation loan at 3%. So when the interest is 5% or 10% after 10 years for housing loan, you have a Vertrag where the bank has to give you an interest at 3% for a housing loan. So you take some property from there, you fill your you renew your housing loan, and again you make a new contract for the 10 years again. So this BauSpar Vertrag really helps us in protecting in some regions when you're taking a housing loan. What can you do apart from this? If you don't want to use this for renewing your housing loan, you can use this for renovation, or you can use this for another purpose, for remodeling or buying a new property or something. It depends on bank to bank and terms and conditions. And additionally, if you are a family member and if you have a children, There are some benefits also given by the state or from the government of from the German government or Bayerns by providing some additional benefits when you have this BauSpar Vertrag. For example, if you are having a BauSpar Vertrag and you bought a property, then the government will offer you 175 euros per person. That means if you are married, you will get a 350 euros for family. Plus, if you are having one children, you will get a 300. If you have two children, you will get a 600. For every children, it's 300. So on a family with two children, you can get a proper value of 950 euros per annum. Like this, for 10 years, you can get some 9,500 euros from this BauSpar Vertrag additional income to you. And these are the current rates, what I'm telling you. But please check if the rates can change tomorrow or in the next month. We cannot guarantee, but I advise before you making something, please check what are the terms and conditions on the day and how your bank is supporting you. So the BauSpar Vertrag really is a good concept. What I believed or my some of my friends believed or advising me, and I have been doing this for the last 2 years before I bought a property. So this BauSpar Vertrag has protected me that if I am in a risk after 10 years, this protects me or this helps me partially that I get some credit from some bank X with a fixed interest that I can pay it for my housing loan after 10 years. So I advise everyone who are planning to take an apartment or a property in Germany. I advise to go through the terms and conditions or to get some information what this BauSpar Vertrag means and how can this help you. There are some feedbacks what I received from different people, and many people said BauSpar Vertrag is good or it's a protected way, and some people also said that it's not so helpful when not so helpful and you can do it in another way as well. So I advise you to check it with your banks, with some finance experts, and with your friends who already had this. But don't forget about this term BauSpar Vertrag before if you are having a plan to buy a property in Germany. This would have really, this might support us or protect us in some risk factors in future. This is my advice, but I ask you to go through this and make a decision. Jai Hind and have a nice time.